What would be possible if you could just shift one tiny little thing in your life? And it's kind of an interesting topic, at least for me, because being a subconscious coach, and I can see things that people do around me that just little tweaks, and it could be massive shifts within somebody's life. For example, let's say if you were fearful to doing a live video like I'm doing right now, what could you accomplish if in your business if you were able to do live videos? Weight loss. What if you could avoid that one particular thing that was holding you back? Soda, for example, or overeating. What about if it was a relationship? What if you were trying to overcome a particular behavior pattern that is not helpful to you and or your partner? See, the subconscious controls most of us. So we either utilize it to help us or we let it run our lives. Because everything we do is part of a program within us. We learn them over time, then we come up with these beliefs. So there's a hierarchy, a belief structure. At the top you have beyond identity. That's going to be the things greater than yourself. Community, religion, being a part of something bigger. For kids, it may be like Boy Scouts or family. Then you have beyond or identity. This is the beliefs you have about yourself. So, for example, if you say, I'm powerful or I'm strong, you're probably going to act in those ways. But if you say, I'm weak or I'm not good enough or I can never be better than my parent, those are going to be limitations that hold you back in life. For example, if you say, I can never be better than my parent, it may be for a good reason, right? Maybe you don't want them to feel bad, or maybe you believe somebody told you of a power figure that told you couldn't overcome that. But you can. And that's the really cool thing, because neuroplasticity allows us to rewire our brains and re-emphasize what should and shouldn't be within our belief structures. So that's really powerful. But so let's say if you have a belief that money is evil, and you have an identity of I'm not evil, that means you can't coexist with money. So a lot of the times we'll have these self-destructive behaviors of, so we get a raise, and then we have now extra money, and the extra money now means that's evil, and then therefore I don't want to be evil, therefore I have to get rid of my money. So you make bad financial decisions, or you spend it, or you create some dissidence within your life to get rid of it. So it's kind of weird that even bad things are done for good reasons. And once we can figure out which ones are controlling, then they can be tweaked. So that 2 millimeter shift to get you where you need to go. And for like smoking, for example, there was this one person that I remember that had a belief that honoring their dad through smoking, because their dad had handed them a pack of cigarettes and he had died shortly after. So he had associated smoking with honoring his father, smoking with being a man. Now, if you have those two belief structures, quitting smoking is almost impossible, because you want to honor your father, you want to be a man, right? So therefore, I can't quit smoking. So if you change those two associations, what else can be being a man? For example, this individual had kids, so being a man also could be being a good father. So if you can disassociate it with smoking and associate it with being a good father, then you can still be a good father and not smoke. Even more so, because then you're even a better role model. And how else could you honor your father, right? So you can do all these little changes to shift it from a negative relationship to a positive relationship, and therefore overcome little challenges. And that's where it really becomes powerful. So once we identify those little shifts that we need to make, using the tools of, say, hypnosis and meridian tapping, all these amazing subconscious tools, it's pretty easy to make these little 2 millimeter shifts. And sometimes you can make massive shifts. Fear, for example. Fear is a wonderful tool. It keeps us out of danger, it keeps us out of trouble, as long as it's not holding you back from the things that you need to do. So if you have a fear of, say, swimming and you want to be a triathlete, right, that's going to hold you back. Or let's say you're at summer camp when you're a kid, and summer camp involves swimming a lot of times. So if you have a desire to be at summer camp, you need to learn how to swim, otherwise you get ridiculed. Jocko Willink actually wrote a book called, or co-wrote a book called, The Diaries of the Warrior Kid, which is a great read for parents and children, by the way. But he kind of talks about that. It's kind of a neat paradigm where he kind of helped shift his, I believe it was his nephew, into kind of out of that fear cycle. I hope this kind of opens up a little thoughts for you, and if it does, put a comment. I would love to hear what you think of all of this and what would help you in your 2mm shift into greatness, because we're all wonderful light creatures, and sometimes we just get held back a little bit, but we can all change if we want to, of course. And it's okay, if people don't want to change. Some people like just staying in comfort, but for those who do want to be more, I'd love to work on with you one-on-one. Shoot me a message. I'd love to talk further on how to do that, what to do, and what to expect. Otherwise, love you guys. Good night.